Hello everyone, I'm Manish Gupta and I represent the National Law Training Institute. I welcome you all to this mentorship session by Kevin Preji, All India Rank 19, CLAT 2022. At the National Law Training Institute, we are committed towards providing quality mentorship and that is accessible and affordable to all. We hope to help you guys through your CLAT prep journey and remove any obstacles that you might face during your CLAT prep. So we have Kevin among us, even though an introduction is not required because by virtue of his rank, but still I would ask Kevin to introduce himself a bit.
Hi, I'm Kevin, and I secured a rank of 19 in CLAT 2022, and I'm from Bangalore.
Right. So, Kevin, I have a set of predetermined questions. I shall go through that first, and then we'll look at the chat box if anyone has any question. So, Kevin, as you know, CLAT exam is primarily and basically revolving around reading speed and comprehension skills. Like we have to go through 30 passages, all like every question is primarily reading. So, what do you suggest to improve one's reading speed and comprehension skills? Like one cannot read the entire passage and look at question and then like tend to go back to read the entire passage. So what is your strategy? What was your strategy to improve your reading speed and comprehension skills?
I think it's something that takes time. Like I had the same problem at first, and like reading, like because CLAT's a very reading intense paper after like the pattern changed and stuff.
Hmm.
So what I used to do is like I would like train my mind for like the worst, if that makes sense. So like I would sit for like 2 hours, but in those 2 hours, I'm continuously just reading like heavy editorials kind of thing. And I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, at first it takes a lot of effort, and like your mind stops working like after like 5 minutes, 7 minutes, but slowly it starts getting better. And eventually, when you're like, it takes quite a lot of time. Maybe it took me like maybe 1 2 months to like finally get used to like
Hmm.
reading like lot of like again 30 passages of just heavy reading material. But
Right.
yeah, eventually you stop tiring out after like half your paper, and you'll be able to like move through.
Yeah. So basically, for reading speed, you suggest that we should be constant with our reading and should not stop reading whenever we feel tired. And like consistency is the key to crack
Yeah,
the reading speed section.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so like since you also gave your boards this year and you were a fresher for CLAT, so how did you manage your class 12 exams along with CLAT, and did you manage to excel in both?
Yeah, I got like 95% in CBSE, and I guess for me it was online classes, so I didn't have to like go to school as such, so I had a lot more time to devote to CLAT also. But in
Hmm.
general also, plus I was a science student, so I guess there was a lot more to learn in science compared to like, I mean, yeah. So what I used to do is like basically I would make notes in my textbooks kind of thing, and like when I'm reading the chapter at first, I make sure that I just have to read it only one more time before the exam, and I should be done. So basically, my first read
Right,
of the chapter was comprehensive, if that makes sense. And that way,
right.
I would just have to read the textbook or like the chapter twice before the exam, so I could spend all that other time for like class.
Right. So, did you prepare for 2 years or you prepared only in your class 12th?
No, I started at the end of class 11th. So 1 year, around 6 months actually, like from October onwards, I started properly.
Right. So can you tell us about what sources did you refer for GK and like which all months did you cover for the general knowledge section? Most people suggested that only like 6 to 7 months would be enough for CLAT 2022. What was your strategy for the GK section?
Okay, so like at first my GK scores were very low. Then I started like using Drishti as the compendiums you get on their website. And
Hmm.
I would like keep highlighting the Drishti IS and like keep searching for important keywords and like information that seems a little off. So like, it catches your eye, if that makes sense. So they seem
Right.
important. Yeah, and yeah, so my sources were basically Drishti IS and CLAT Post. And then how do I put it? Like coaching institutes, they give out like a list of important topics. So I used to take them
Right.
and then again search up Drishti IS or like Wikipedia and stuff. And then the Hindu,
Right. So this
obviously.
brings me to my next question. That do you think that GK compendiums like Manthan, CLAT Post, Dishti IAS should suffice to prepare for the entire section, or do you think self notes, handwritten notes are important?
I had what do you call it? Like I used to type it on my computer and like just copy paste basically and highlight on my computer.
Hmm.
So when I say Drishti IS also, like either I would highlight it on Drishti IS and some topics which are not there on the compendium but on their website, I would copy paste the thing and put it on a document. So I had like a whole document, like two documents actually for like GK, where I would just copy
Hmm.
paste material. And then I also had this big folder of like important topics, like let's say Russia, Ukraine stuff. And like, so let's say Russia, Ukraine, I would have everything regarding Russia, Ukraine, like the history behind it, or what happened
Hmm.
next, like the Japanese Russia deal, and like everything behind it. So I used to basically make notes also. So that's very important. I don't think only referring to compendiums is comprehensive enough.
Right, right, right. Also, in the chat box, some people are interested in knowing which coaching were you in. So, can you tell us which coaching did you join, or you prepared on your own self study, basically?
I mean, I was not in any classroom programs. I just used to use the mock, no, like the mock test series of like Legal Edge and CL, mainly LE, Legal Edge.
Right. So, like just to tell all the aspirants watching this interview, Kevin was in Legal Edge, and he wasn't enrolled in any classroom program per se, but he only gave mocks of CL and Legal Edge. Right. So now coming to the question of mocks, what was the strategy that you followed for analyzing these mocks? Like, and how many mocks did you give per week? What was the frequency of mocks, and how did you analyze those mocks?
Okay, so basically, I started with like two mocks a week. And oh, yeah, so when it comes to analyzing, also for like quite a while, I didn't really know how to analyze it. But so
Hmm.
basically, like, how do I put it? If you find a question that's wrong, most of the times, either like it's wrong because you had no idea what the question was or what it meant, like you just had no idea, or you had some idea but you ticked the wrong option, like it's like between two yes options and you didn't know the reason. So
Hmm.
if that's the case, especially because that's the case, when that's the case, you need to like look down at the reasoning, and first you need to wonder what the reasoning is. Like you have to think like the
Right.
teacher, if that makes sense. So you wonder what the reasoning is, and then you check whether what your explanation is the same as the reasoning given below in the explanations. And that's how you actually do mock analysis, compared to like when I used to just look, okay fine, this is wrong, okay fine, I won't do this mistake next time. And then I would write it down in a
Right.
mock analysis doc. I had like a whole comprehensive doc where I would like write
Hmm.
to myself like an inference is different from a assumption, or like blah blah blah, and list so points. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so basically, just to summarize for the benefit of all, Kevin had a comprehensive document in which he wrote down his mistakes and what he wanted to refer to before the next mock. So, like basically, if you have a confusion between what is the difference between conclusion and inference, so if you get a question wrong based on this, you could write in your document in which you write all your mistakes, and before you give your next mock, just refer to it so that you have in your mind that this was the mistake I committed in my last mock, and I should not repeat the same mistake again. So yeah, so coming to my next question, so you told about your frequency was two mocks a week. So did that remain same during the entire CLAT prep, or at the end of like your journey you increased your frequency?
Like so like at first it was like one mock a week, and then after that I was just like, okay fine, I need to really be serious about it because I was starting later compared to other aspirants. So I increased it to two mocks a week, and like pretty spaced out. And then I think towards CLAT, like towards the end, I increased it to three mocks a week. And yeah, that's it. Like within three mocks a week also, as long as I had like ample of like 1 2 days in between to like analyze my mock and self-reflect and like practice the topics I'm weak at. So max of
Right.
three mocks a week. Yeah.
Cool. So Kevin, since CLAT 2023 is in December this year, so what would you suggest to like which all months should we refer to for GK section? Do you think that doing current affairs after January 2022 would suffice, or do we need to look at like last year also 2021?
I mean, if you want, you can look through 2021, but mainly everything will probably come from 2022 onwards. Like January 2022, like till December
Hmm.
2022 is a, like a absolute must.
Right, right, right. Kevin, can you also tell us about what was your lowest score in mock test, like the one that you must have given as your first mock, and what was your highest score in mock? So just that people get to know that this might be a difference between your first mock score and your second last mock score, and not get like what do I say? Not get discouraged if they are scoring low right now.
I think my first mock was like a free mock online, and like because it was a free mock, it was very low quality, it was very basic, and I think I got
Hmm.
55 in that.
Right.
Yeah. So like if I had written like an LE mock or something, then I would have gotten like 30 maybe or something, or maybe 20. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. And what about your like highest mock score?
Highest mock score, like in LE, I barely made it like 101 or something, like only once.
Hmm.
And in CL, I think 117, 117, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. And so I'm assuming that your average would be like something above 85, 90, below 100. So 90 to 100 would be your average score in LE mocks.
In LE mocks, maybe, yeah, 85, 90 on good days. Yeah.
Right. Cool, cool. I get it. Yeah. So brings me to my next question about stagnancy in mock score. So what happens, and this happened during my CLAT prep journey also. So when I reached a particular threshold, like 85 marks and 90 marks, I wasn't able to cross that threshold. Like I'm not able to score above 90. What did you also experience the same thing that you weren't able to go above or go beyond 80 marks during any time of your journey? And what did you do to overcome this stagnancy in mock score?
I mean, like, how do I put it? Like, I think every professor would tell you that there's like a learning curve that goes like
Right.
this. So, like, you increase extreme, like, you learn very fast at first, and then you
Hmm.
slowly, like, eventually just plateau out. Like,
Right.
so the thing is, like, as you keep writing mocks, you're still improving. You just don't realize it because you improved at such a high pace the previous few months, and now you're just
Hmm.
gradually increasing. So, in relativity, like, it doesn't feel like you're improving, and it feels like you're stagnating. But yeah, obviously I did have points where, like, in fact, my mock scores dropped, and that was very demoralizing. But how do I
Hmm.
put it? I think I looked at it with a very like in a very different lens. Like, how do I put it? I think I remember like watching a lot of videos where like basically like a lot of people would panic during CLAT, and like, how do I put it? I kind of realized that CLAT was more about a
Hmm.
mindset game rather than
Mindset. Yeah.
how. Yeah. So I was just like basically training myself for the worst. So I was like, okay, fine. If this is my, like, if my mock scores have dropped, and like if this is my lowest point in the prep and I'm still fine, then I can easily do CLAT, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So if I can get
Right.
through this, I can get through CLAT. Yeah.
Right.
So it kind of
So
like wish.
Kevin. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
continue.
Right. Right. Yeah. So basically, I wanted to ask like that the critical reasoning section of CLAT is the one that haunts most of the aspirants. Like, how do I do inference? How do I do assumption, conclusion? Should I do theory or should I just practice? So can you tell us about your strategy to ace the critical reasoning section? Yeah. And did you give sectional tests or basically relied on mocks only?
For critical reasoning, I was pretty bad at it at first. And but like, how do I put it? My study buddy, like, she told me to like refer to like GMAT, like logical reasoning. It's like, there's like a
Hmm.
book. So like I took like a lot of time, and like I read it like properly as much as possible, like as thoroughly as possible. And then my mock scores like increased to like maybe like 15. And then after that, how do I put it? Then after that was just practice. Like I would like, instead of practicing RC, I would practice CR
Hmm.
2 times, if that makes sense. So I had much more practice
Right.
in CR. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
And
basically
slowly.
connected only if you are good in CR, you'll be good in RC. That's like
Yeah.
by default only. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
for CR, you refer to GMAT Club Forum. Did you also refer to like LSAT questions or Khan Academy website like that?
No, no, no. I mean, I
All right.
should have, but the GMAT thing was more than enough for me. Like, I pretty much understood it by that time. So then when I tried
Hmm.
putting in like into mocks, my scores were increasing, so I didn't have to refer. But yeah, like
Right.
if you still haven't understood the concept, you should.
Oh, and what about your English section? Did you do something special for English? Or by default, you were good in English being born in Bangalore, a good metropolitan city?
I mean, yeah, to some extent, but like, how do I put it? For me, English section, it was more about like reading and like it was just tiring, if that makes sense to me. And
Hmm.
how do I put it? Obviously, like vocabulary, there were like some parts which were like pretty hard. Yeah, so like the main issues that I faced in English were like vocabulary and tones and passages, and like, oh, what's the
Right.
tone of the passage, which I struggled even till the end of CLAT. So but yeah, like but for vocabulary, I used to like take the Hindu editorial every day, circle out like the words that I didn't know and write it in a book, and then I would read it
Right.
once in a while.
So what did you do for tones and literary devices? Because if I'm correct, these questions were asked in CLAT exam also. So did you refer to any book or some YouTube videos which you could share with the aspirants?
No, not exactly. Like, oh, and this is something like how do I put it? I think something you wouldn't find somewhere, but like I used to just discuss like again, like I used to write the mocks with my study buddy, right? So we
Hmm.
would like discuss the passage together, and then when the question of like tones comes, she would give her interpretation as to why it's a like let's say an argumentative um passage, and I would explain why it's an explanatory passage. And so like how do I put it that way? That kind of helped me
Right.
more. That makes sense. But also like how do I put it? There are two ways of looking at tone. Some questions like tone passages are like basically like is the passage negative, positive? Is he cynical? Like those kind of things are easier because they just use a slightly hard word. Like is the passage joyous or is the passage glamorous? Like basically big words for
Hmm.
like a simple meaning. And then there's some
Right.
tones which are like okay, like argumentative, explanatory. The other two, yeah, those
Descriptive.
were like descriptive,
Yeah.
narrative. Yeah, those were
Yeah.
slightly like pretty hard for me. So I used to discuss it with my friend, and that's how
Right. So
I used to write it down on my mock analysis doc.
right. Someone in the chat wants to know who your study buddy was and how he or she helped you in the prep. Do you want to throw some light on that?
Yeah, like how do I put it? I knew her from like so like. Do you want me to tell her name?
No, no, that's
Oh,
name is not necessary. Just tell if you want to
okay.
tell which college he or she got, or like.
Oh, okay. So basically, she was like a childhood friend of mine, kind of thing. But like, we
Oh,
didn't really talk until like I realized that like she was also doing CLAT, and then we like I guess since we are in Bangalore and we're also surrounded by like IITJ students, so we both just banded up together and started doing mocks together, started learning together, and how do I put it? Like oh and how do like she was doing CLAT for like 2 years and I was doing for like 1 year, right? So I was just like catching up to her, if that makes sense. So like my whole
hmm.
preparation was just to get the same amount of marks as she was getting. And I guess and I know like she's a like a brilliant student and like she used to score extremely high. But and yeah, and now she like got into NLIU Bhopal also.
Right, right. Thank you, Kevin, for that information. Since you told that you were not in any coaching institute, so did you refer to any books for self-study, like for any special book for maths, for English, for legal?
For maths, I was a math student in school anyway, so like I didn't have much of a problem. It was elementary maths for me.
Hmm.
For CR again, like the GMAT, there's a whole PDF on it, like a book on it, and also you can go to like the website. Then for GK again, I used to use Drishti.is and then internet sources, and I used to make my own notes and the Hindu.
Right.
Um, yeah, and then sometimes I would refer to CLAT post also, but those were mostly questions. So then after that for legal, I used to like go on YouTube and just type like contracts. And
Right.
so like an academy had this like a Neha by Neha Singh, I guess like she just had lectures and I just used to like note all of that down.
Hmm.
In the long run, I don't think that was as helpful as I thought it would be, but I guess it gave me that confidence, right? So like okay, I've done as much as I can for legal reasoning. And then finally for English, I didn't use any book because I speak English normally also. So
Right, right. So, coming to the question of legal, which also sources did you refer to? Only the videos or like any other sources? And basically, this I wanted to ask you that people usually divide legal section into the core legal knowledge and the current legal knowledge. Core legal like crime, constitution, torts, contracts, and current legal like sedition, UAPA, defamation, and all events concerning the courts of India. So, did you also do something different for current legal knowledge because core legal knowledge is usually covered in the books and lectures?
yeah, so like core legal knowledge, like how do I put it? Again, from like an academy, like there's a whole playlist of like so many videos on the whole thing, and it's pretty comprehensive also. So I like noted everything down from that. For
Hmm,
and that was pretty much my whole legal prep. For and then obviously practice. Then for current legal knowledge, I mean, I didn't pay much attention to it. Like, oh, who was this judge? What like which judge stopped sedition, like put a hold on
hmm,
sedition, blah blah blah. Like I didn't pay much attention to that. Like when it comes to like how do I put it, like sedition, UAPA, blah blah blah, like the things that are coming up in like um current, yeah, current events, but like
hmm.
in legal section, they used to just come in mocks, right? So that pretty much covered my thing.
Right,
They used
right,
to
right.
come quite frequently in mocks. So
Yeah, yeah, cool. So, Kevin, next question would be like, did you focus on your attempts or did you focus on your accuracy? Because sometimes people tend to attempt 150 questions, but their accuracy is like barely 60, 70%. Or otherwise, they tend to attempt only like 120 questions, but their accuracy is more than 90%. So, did you follow any particular routine, like strategy or approach to the CLAT exam, like where you focused on attempts or accuracy?
how do I put it? Like, I didn't have any set rule like, oh, I need to get above 80% accuracy or whatever. Like, I just
Hmm,
had like a basic ground rule. Like, if there's four options and if I can eliminate two, then I will
right,
mark. Like, I will just blindly just mark one of them. If I can eliminate only one, then I probably wouldn't blindly mark. And obviously, I'll try pushing my attempts, like, because like in CLAT, like, if you get one question luckily right, you can negate like four wrong questions.
or
So sometimes in GK, I mean, it's not something I would recommend, but like in GK,
hmm.
where you can somehow make like a calculative guess, like, oh, some event has to be before independence. So 1927 should be the answer, not 1956, like that, like some sort of calculative guess. Then I used to do
Right.
that also.
Right, right, right. Amazing. Yeah. So some people in the chat box are asking, did you follow any particular timetable, daily routine that you get yourself fixed to that I have to wake up at 7, sleep at 10, did have to do this, have to do this, have to do this.
No, for me, timetables never worked. So like, I normally just had to like do like a set number of things before I sleep. So that's how I just did my tasks. And I used to look at like, so like it's in my like preparation phase, right? So I would have to
Hmm,
like either sleep, so there were like three things, right? Entertainment, sleep, study. So like three things normally also. Um,
hmm,
so I used to like take like 2 hours study sessions or like maybe 2.5 hours study session, then take like a break of like, let's say, lunch or something. And I would like watch something during that time. And then again start studying basically. Like, so, and when I'm, let's say, tired, I would just read GK. So basically, somehow during the day, I'm either studying or power relaxing, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm
hmm.
relaxing, I'm like actually relaxing and or sleeping. Yeah. I used to wake up around like 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but then I mean it's not a good habit. So I used to like wake up at like maybe 8:30. Then I would like study till like again like I would read for like long hours till like maybe like 12:30, 1. Then eat
Hmm.
lunch. Oh, obviously I eat breakfast also. I eat lunch, then do a mock. Or like sometimes I would like not eat lunch, do a mock to like 2 to 4, and then eat my lunch and like
Right.
like take a break and then do my mock analysis, come to the night, and in the night I'd do GK to like 11:30 maybe.
Right. So I'm assuming that when you said that you read, did you read newspaper or something else, like a novel or something?
No, no, no. Newspapers, just editorials. Yeah, I would
Oh,
like collect
of
them.
the Hindu or the Indian Express also?
No, no. I just followed the Hindu, and like, cause I started my prep late, right? So like, I still had the papers of like the previous months. So I would just like
Hmm.
compile them if that makes sense. Like, okay, I have 2 hours. I'll read six newspapers of August, even though I'm in October right now. Like that. Like it's just for the sake of reading, not because I'm trying to catch up on current affairs. Just for the sake of reading
Right.
editorials. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people, aspirants, ask that how can we increase attempts? Do you think that there is a strategy other than increasing the reading speed from like which can help us increase our attempts? Because basically, whenever someone asks me personally how to increase attempts, I just tell them that you need to focus on your reading speed, read a lot, read newspapers, read diverse articles, and that might only help you increase your attempts. So do you think that is the only thing that can help us, or something else is there also?
Like as I said, like like a calculative guess sort of thing. If you can eliminate two, then definitely mark something. If you can only
Hmm.
eliminate one, then probably don't mark. And for GK, like if you can make calculative guesses, and even for like legal reasoning also, when like you feel when you have like a sort of gut feeling, and if you can somehow justify yourself, but like not you're not 100% sure, then still go for it. It's better than nothing. But again, like I wouldn't
Right.
suggest this like if your gut feeling is bad, like if you're just getting all of them consecutively wrong.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess over practice your calculative guesses also slightly get better because you start understanding the paper and the pattern more. But yeah,
Right,
to a
right,
certain
definitely.
extent you
Yeah,
are guessing the paper.
yeah. Kevin, even if you were good in maths, I know that you didn't like pay much heed to maths. Can you tell us a little bit of strategy that one could follow to ace the math section?
Okay, yeah. So like for maths, how do I put it? I don't think people should do maths first or like maths in between. Like I think maths should be left at the last because like even for like someone who's extremely good at maths, it takes more than a minute to solve one maths question. Where while you could
Hmm.
solve another section's question within 1 minute. So it's kind of like a waste of time for the same amount of marks. Secondly, how do I put it for maths? There's just a very specific set of topics like percentages, ratio, proportion, mensuration, like volume, area, surface area. So those kind of
Hmm.
things, like if you can watch like videos on YouTube or probably refer to your NCRT like 9th and 10th or maybe 11th also should be good. And there's also like I think there was like there's like videos on YouTube for like again like the RBI exam, other exams, other government exams which have like data interpretation, but they're like 6 hours long, 8 hours long. Try watching one of those, like if you especially if you're like bad at data interpretation and like interpreting different graphs differently, like because like the graphs are not the same in every mock. Like some graphs are like maybe like an income expenditure graph, and those graphs are pretty tricky also. So it's I'd recommend like watching those like long DI sessions, DI videos. They really help a lot. Even I refer to those. So
Yeah, definitely. So basically, I think that to ace quantitative technique section, one should be good in the ratio and proportion and percentage because, like mostly all data interpretation and case studies, the caselets are directly asked from ratio and proportion percentage only, and
yeah,
nothing like special knowledge of complex knowledge of maths is not required. Yeah.
no, no.
So yeah. So Kevin, can you tell us like a thing that you regret doing during your CLAT prep, that a mistake that you considered you made, but you would not want aspirants to make?
Hmm. Um. Uh.
You made no mistake. That's why you are all
No,
India
no, no,
ranking.
no, no. No, that's not the case. I think one, maybe like one big regret was, how do I put it? I mean, this is something I do recommend to people, like basically like form like a study group kind of thing, especially for GK, and split the major topics. Like one person takes Russia, Ukraine, one person takes like, monetary policy, like RBI's new monetary policy, like stuff like that, and like divide the work. I also did that with like 3 4 people, actually like 4 5 people, and that ended up being a big disaster because like I didn't know these people as such, right? So when you're choosing
Right.
your study buddies, like choose people you actually know, you know that they make good notes, because like my study buddies didn't make like they didn't even do anything. It was just only me and my other friend who actually did most of the work. Yeah.
Right.
But I guess in a way that also benefited me because me and like she, like we both made most of the docs. So we both had like first hand experience as like we both made the docs. So we both knew what we were doing
Hmm.
and what the topic is
Right.
like first hand. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, any general tip that you would want aspirants to give? Like, I'm done with my predetermined questions. If you have anything extra to add, uh, most welcome. And if the people who are watching, if you have any questions, please do write in the chat box.
Okay, maybe another thing I regret was not learning how to mock and analyze properly and like not having like an Excel sheet. Like now, eventually I had an Excel sheet where like I wrote all my mocks, their scores, and like my
Hmm.
rank percentile in that. So I could actually see whether I was improving or not. And like, so how do I put it? That's like data based decision making, right? So you can see
Right.
that like, okay, fine. Even though your let's say CR section felt good, you still scored lesser in CR this time, or like especially, oh yeah, how do I put it? Like I think one thing I would like to tell aspirants is like never really check your marks as such, but rather your percentile or your rank in a particular topic. Like okay, let's say your CR went bad, you got let's say like 10 out of 30. Then look at your percentile and in CR, like is your rank bad in CR, like was it worse than the previous rank, then definitely you have to work on it. But if it's
Hmm.
bad, like if it was a hard mock, it was hard for everyone, so that's why you're
Everyone.
scoring low. That's also a thing. Yeah.
Right. Some people in the chat box want to know if 4 months are enough to crack CLAT. Like since you just told me that you also got like 6 months to prepare for CLAT seriously, do you think that 4 months should suffice if one is starting now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you put in like effort, like, and plus, like, how do I put it? CLAT 2023 aspirants don't have to worry much about boards because that's later on, right? So
Right.
December, so they have ample and like almost all their time they can devote to CLAT. So definitely they can do it. I started my prep seriously from like January around like so like 5 6 months and
Hmm.
like properly. So like if they do start right now, and since they don't have any schoolwork to do, like diligently, like so they can easily clear CLAT. Yeah.
Right, right. Also, I believe that if one has good mentors and good like support system around them, good like just you also told us about your study buddy. So if you scored less, you could talk to your study buddy and ask her that did she also score less in the mock, and then you will realize that the mock only was difficult, and you are not the one who made a special mistake in that mock. So I think that if one has a good support system surrounded by good mentors and good teachers and good friends, that could also help one like clear CLAT, because what CLAT requires is a good open mindset and a good peace of mind. If one is in that, I think he or she will be able to succeed. Do you think the same,
Yeah,
Kevin?
definitely. Yeah, I used to just like chase her, if that makes sense. Like keep trying to like catch up to her in her mock scores and stuff. And yeah, and every time like so basically we would have like the mock together. We would write the mock together. Then we would like analyze it separately on our own. And then in the night we would talk and call each other. So I would hear her perspective as to the same questions. And I mean like, and then there was also the like a competitive instinct to like work a little harder. So like every time I
Right,
was not working, and like the thing is she's an extremely brilliant diligent student, so every time I was not studying or like I was not working hard or I took it a little easy, I would think like okay fine, like she's actually doing work and I'm not. On top of that, she's been preparing for 2 years, so like I need to actually ramp up my game.
right,
Yeah, so
right.
like definitely a
So
good peer
yeah.
group is very important.
Yeah, so Kevin, this is my motive also, like behind starting the study buddy group. Like after I've divided or like allotted them a mentor based on their mock score, like if one is scoring 50, 55, let's say, and he is having a study buddy group who is also scoring 50 to 50, 60, then if one scores above 60, the other three would know that I am not doing sufficient as compared to what the fourth one is doing, because this is seen, that this is visible now that the fourth one is getting above 60, 65 now. So there may be a place where I'm lacking and I should catch up with that guy. So this is also a competitive spirit, as you just talked about. It is also great in a study buddy group. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
last question. I forgot to ask this. What was the sequence in mocks and your final ultimate sequence that you followed in CLAT?
So basically, like I started off with like I just at first I started off with like the normal sequence, like as given in the paper, and then after that I kind of realized that like okay, that's a little bit too tiring. So I switched up the sequence a little bit. So I used to do, I think, but this is like what most people actually do, like readings like RC, then legal reasoning, then GK, then CR, and then maths. So I had very valid
Right.
reasons as to why I kept them in each place. So yeah, I
Hmm.
guess it's something individual to everyone. Like,
Right, right. But basically, this is suggested that we have a section which requires less of a reading that acts as a breather between two reading extensive
yeah,
sections. So basically, your GK section provided you a mental space, like a kind of a breather between legal and CR, both reading extensive sections.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Right, right, right. So, Kevin, I think we are done for the day, and yeah, you can leave the session, and I'll talk to the aspirants about the programs.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you
Bye
for the
bye.
session, Kevin. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Whoever is watching the session, please don't forget to join our Telegram group. We at NLS have launched this new initiative by the name of National Law Training Institute, whereby we shall commit ourselves to help uh, our future juniors in NLS, basically the aspirants who are preparing for CLAT right now. What our plan is and what we have already launched is we'll be creating study buddy groups of four, and each study buddy group will be mentored by a personal NLSIU mentor only. So basically, this would help you in two three ways. Firstly, you will get to know people who are scoring in the same range. Secondly, if one of the people is scoring more than you, you'll know that this is the place where I'm lacking. And at the end of the day, after you give the same mock, you will get an opportunity to discuss the same with your mentor, the mentor who will be mentoring you, the four of you in the study group. So coming from diverse places in India and getting to know each of your study buddy would help you a lot in gauging where the places where you are lacking and the places where you need to improve upon. So this is our plan at the National Law Training Institute. We'll also be providing you with a GK weekly mock if you choose to enroll with us. The sample has been shared with you on the Telegram group, and I hope you like the quality of the GK mock. Secondly, thirdly, we will also be providing you a GK weekly topic list. This shall ensure that you do not have to like go through the tedious long 500 topic list that various coaching institutes release before the CLAT exam, and this shall ensure that you are updated, because after every week our personal mentor will like take a session with you guys, your study buddy group, and will be asking you questions from the GK mock that has been given and also from the GK topic list. So this shall ensure that you are accountable to someone. A lot of people came to me and said that there is no sense of responsibility, that aaj maine pad liya kal nahi pada. Nobody is there to check them, but my motive to start this initiative is that there is a mentor who is guiding you always, who is supervising the entire activities of the study buddy group, and then at the end of the week is taking their feedback, that what all did they do during the entire what all did they do during the entire week, and were they able to cover what was advised by the mentor, and uh, what is the special need that the study buddy group is facing. Yeah, so Amrinder is asking what is the price. So Amrinder, for our price is, I think, very quite reasonable as opposed to other mentorship programs. So the starting price would be 600 per month, which shall include a GK weekly topic list, important topic list, and a GK weekly mock. Our mentors would also be taking special subject specific sessions. Like I have planned a few sessions by All India rankers, like below All India rank 10, who will be taking your specific sessions, like how to ace GK, how to ace illegal, how to ace CR, and you will be able to learn from the best. Also, this provides an additional incentive that when you are enrolled in our program, you will get hands-on like interaction with the NLSIU mentors who have cracked CLAT and who are here in NLS. You will get to know people who would be your seniors, would be your potential seniors. You'll get to know like 15, 20 mentors who would be mentoring you, and that too exclusively from the National Law School, Bangalore. So that's an additional incentive that this program would provide as compared to other programs running already on Telegram, where there might be random mentors from Jodhpur, Gandhinagar, Bhopal. So basically our aim is that we provide quality mentorship. Like if a person is having the caliber of getting into NLS, I think that why a person belonging to Bhopal or let's say Gandhinagar or Jodhpur would mentor that child. So our initiative is that we mentor a child who has a caliber of entering into NLS, and that he or she gets the best mentorship available in the entire like industry. Yeah, so please don't forget to join. If you want to enroll in a program, the link is in the description box, the link to our Telegram channel. I hope that you like this session and you will also appreciate our initiative. So basically, this is not a not for profit initiative. Just to clear things out, let's say if I'm calling like Kevin today or another All India ranker tomorrow, considering the academic rigor NLS has, nobody would be like amenable to taking a free session and devoting their time to the fellow aspirants. So everyone needs something in return. You're getting it now. So basically, everyone wants something in return of their time. So if I'm calling tomorrow, let's say All India rank 3, All India rank 4, so they'll be demanding something in return if they are sparing their time, their precious time of like 1 hour with us. So these are non-profitable rates just because we think this is our obligation having cleared CLAT. This is our obligation towards the aspirant community that we help them out. And we at NLS, the students and NLS and at the National Law Training Institute believe that we'll be able to help you guys out thoroughly. Yeah, so thank you for listening to me and thank you for being patient. I think we can end the session now. Please all join the Telegram group. The link would be in the description box. Thank you so much for attending.